Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for high-level traders to learn valuable trends and strategies, connect with other top traders, and become consistently profitable. Click the link in the description of this video to receive a special offer on our revolutionary PS60 training, access to our daily interactive webinar filled with experienced traders, and so much more. Space is limited, so make sure you don't miss out.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrade.com weekend wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's living the life that they want. Again, at the end of the day, and I say this all day, every day, it's all about being happy. I don't care what you do for a living. If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not content with yourself, if you can't smile in the morning, you got to do something else, because at the end of the day, it's all about living the one life. That's it. One life we get, and if you can't live it the way you want to, you really need to take proper steps to kind of get you where you want to get. So hope everybody's doing well, guys. Another rainy weekend here in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. It's just nonstop rain. So let's talk about the markets really quickly. Again, pretty flash week for the indexes. Again, if you've been following me, if you're joining us for the first time via StockTwits or Twitter, or YouTube, again, where this goes out once a week to the viewing public. Again, stock market is dead, right, guys? Stock market is dead. You saw this on Friday. All the myths are gone. There's a stock market. There's summer trading is terrible, especially on Fridays. Stock market has been dead a long time ago. We're in a big universe of stocks. And again, the most amazing day is always Friday. For some reason, the last 2 months, consecutive Fridays, we've had just tremendous action. Doesn't make a difference what the headlines are. Doesn't matter what's going on in the macro world. For whatever reason, the market has been very good, right? To beta traders, just traders in general who trade risk on. And again, we see that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Quickly, before we go on, again, just a reminder, we have about a little less than 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left to the August 25th PS60 workshop. Okay, again, guys, I'm incredibly humbled by the response so far. Pretty damn cool. I know you guys are eager to learn, and so far the response has been great. For anybody, we added just a kind of a kicker for pre-registration. Anybody who joins prior to the 25th, for example, if you join and you sign up for the workshop on Monday over the weekend, you get the live webinar all the way up to September 25th. Okay, so you're talking about literally from August the 13th all the way to September 25th to see how this plays out before the workshop, after the workshop, so you have a really good understanding and the moving parts of what we do here in the wonderful world of pivots. And again, thank you very much. I'm really truly humbled by the initial response. I've gotten great feedback for all you guys who are taking advantage of the pre-registration. So let's get into the markets, right? Flat session pretty much throughout the week on the indexes. Again, the final numbers, don't care how they got there. The final numbers, S&P, Dow Jones, red. The NASDAQ 100 went up about 0.3%. That's not the story. The story is the headlines. The headlines that everybody's following, the Tesla saga, right? The Tesla saga. Again, you can go on 3,000 different websites. Look, if you want a review of the market, go on 3,000 different websites. We speak from the trader's point of view. Is Tesla going to get taken private at 400, at 500, at 4,000, or zero? We don't know. We don't care. We trade the price action. I'm not the authority on speaking intelligently on Tesla, its fundamentals, how it should go, where it should go. When the price action is good, we confirm it, we trade it, and that's the only thing that matters. Our opinions mean less than nothing. It's all about confirmation of price action. But I'll tell you one thing. I have never seen in a million years, again, social media is relatively new, but I've never seen in a million years that a CEO randomly ponders whether there's funding, right? Whether there's funding that has been secured, and that's going to be a meme for probably the rest of our lives. So we don't know if funding is secured or not secured, but it's very rare. And I thought you saw everything. I've been trading since 1999. I thought I'd seen everything, but for a CEO to come have a random thought about going private at $420, he could have said, $820. Again, I get the whole weed, right? The whole weed terminology, 420, blah, blah, blah. But I've never personally seen that. We knew, I mean, if you have an intelligent brain in your head, you kind of know that the Securities Exchange Commission, FINRA, all these regulatories are going to see what the hell this guy was thinking. Again, do I think, and I literally just talked about this on a Twitter live I just did literally about an hour ago. Do I think he sat there and said, I'm going to commit fraud? Probably not, right? Probably not. But he had to know this tweet that I'm about to send out is going to jolt a lot of reaction one way or another from the world, right? It's going to know. And probably not, and again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, if you're CEO of probably and arguably one of the most loved hate entities that I've ever traded, right? That you're going to send a tweet like that, you probably kind of figure, the stock is going to rip up 45 points later. There is your argument. The argument on the other side is it legal, right? Is it legal? Was it legal? Okay. News disseminated to shareholders all at once is legal. Having the ability to do it on social media, I don't know, right? Knowing that the stock is probably going to explode and squeeze the crap out of the 30% short interest that's already involved, yes, he kind of knew that. So do I think he was trying to perpetrate fraud? Probably not. But again, if you notice, he's been kind of quiet over the last several days. It's a whole different story. But the saga will definitely continue on Tesla until much more clarity is going to be kind of dispersed. That's obvious. As a trader, there's no way I could trade full size anymore in Tesla. Again, you're literally one headline away. If you're short, to get destroyed. If you're long, to get destroyed. For the last couple of days, I've been trading Tesla with a third size, because the moves are much more aggressive. The liquidity is much thinner, right? The spreads are wider. And what's the scariest part about a trade right now in Tesla, okay, it's not being wrong. The scariest part about being in a trader in Tesla, whether you're long bias or short bias in that interval, it's for the stock to get halted, right? The last thing you want to do is for the stock to get halted and you're on the wrong side of the headline, okay? And that kind of really scares me. So, and I've been saying this in a live webinar, the chances of me trading Tesla right now for more than a rental for a couple of minutes, probably going to be gone, okay? Until we have much more clarity and the liquidity gets a little bit better and people kind of go numb to the headlines and start trading it organically again, it's probably the smartest thing to do so. But again, I really do believe if you're a trader, okay, you have to adjust to your environment, okay? We've been trading pivots for a very, very long time. That's my comfort level, okay? If you trade other things, that's your comfort level. Again, there's no way I could convince a person that this is my way. If you have to do it my way, you have to do it my way. There's no way you're going to make money. That's nonsense, right? Everybody trades how they're comfortable. For me, I trade beta. I trade the pivots on beta. And again, I can control them. That's the most important part, is being in control. If you look at Friday session, again, that whole myth of the Friday summer, it's quiet, super aggressive, right? Super aggressive. The Dow was down as much as it was like 250, okay? And again, 250 literally for the first like hour of the day. 6 out of the 7 pivots, or 5 out of 6 pivots, whatever it was, that we put in the live webinar, that we traded and we put in the private Twitter feed, 6 out of 7 were longs, which basically proves, again, the market is dead. It's just a universe of individual equities. So let's talk about Friday's session. And I want to share the most important trade for Friday. And it wasn't a winning trade and it wasn't a losing trade. And it's something that I tweeted out, which I thought was very, very kind of important to discuss. And that's how, when you're holding a pair of aces, right? When you're holding a pair of aces, sometimes, especially if you guys are who play poker, sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, but sometimes you have to muck those aces. And we'll talk about that in a second. So let's talk about some of the pivots we had on Friday. And again, sometimes you just don't need to be creative, guys. I say this all the time. And one of the little strategies, kind of a bonus strategy that I will be kind of going over on the PS60 workshop on the 25th, is this kind of earning strategy that we've had for a long, long time now. And it's something so simplistic if you really thought about the rationale. And it's not simplistic to trade. There's no such thing as a simplistic trade or an easy trade. But it's so simplistic to rationalize that if you were explained this little tidbit, then you can really, you could really wrap your head around why emotional vehicles like a Roku, like an Apple, like a Netflix, like a Square, like a Google and Amazon, after they put in an outrageously aggressive day, the previous day, whether it's on earnings, whatever the case may be. So for example, earnings, right, on Roku, right, Roku and Yelp, what were the two biggest movers the day before? It was Roku and Yelp. And the easiest rationale behind it is taking those stocks that had the biggest moves, and then the next day, if they open up red to green, right, if they open up lower than they closed, you see this massive wave of buying that continued from the previous day. So we talked about this. This is all pre-market, Roku on watch, red to green for an aggressive move. Again, you saw what Roku did. I mean, Roku just absolutely exploded. I caught this thing pretty well. It went red to green, and you could see the move. Like once it went red to green, this just went bananas. This thing went almost 61, big move there. Congratulations for you guys who caught that. MCHP, this was literally the only short we had. When the Dow was down 250 points, this was literally the only short I put into the chat room. And I said, hey guys, look at microchip, right? The day before, I think it was Morgan Stanley that downgraded. It was LRCX and Applied Materials. So the fact that MCHP missed wasn't a big shock. But again, so MCHP 90 is the pre-market lows. If it builds below, it can flush. I mean, again, here's microchip. I mean, again, some of these strategies are not, they don't need to be complex. Just sometimes you just realize, well, the stock is trading at the lows of the day. If it confirms the lows of the day, it should go lower. That's exactly what it was. Here was your 90, and once it broke that 90, it was just complete waterfall all the way down to a little bit under $85. Congratulations for all you guys who caught that as well. TTD was the big one. I didn't trade this thing. I was in a Roku and Yelp when this thing triggered. And if you guys notice how TTD triggered, okay, I think it was Herb in the room who caught it for 9 points. TTD, when it triggered, it was trading at $1 spread with 100 share lots. I'm sorry, that's just not for me. Yeah, again, as the market says, we don't give a what you're in, Shapiro. These stocks are either going to go or they're not going to go. And yeah, apparently they went. TTD confirmed that 116 level, right? Confirmed that 116 level pre-market. And all it did was go up another 14, 15 points after that. So again, it really does prove that natural order flow is the king. Nobody cares about our opinions. Nobody cares if you're in the stock or not. If it confirms and the confirmation is credible and it builds upon that level, it will go. Unfortunately for me, fortunately for me, it was all about 100 share lots, $1 spread. Excuse me if I'm not going to entertain allocating my money there. But again, it is what it is. So stock did go move there. Yelp, same thing. Watch the red to green is exactly the same play as Roku. Exactly the same thing as Roku. Again, had this monster 30% move the day before. It opened up lower, down 30, 40 cents. Once it went red to green and put up that initial move, it confirmed, exploded, absolutely exploded, as you saw what happened there. I think that was about it. Yelp, Roku, TTD. There was a couple of other more. Square. Yeah, so here's the trade. Here's the trade I want to talk about. So, right? So here's the trade I want to talk about. So I haven't learned anything from my winners a long time ago. Okay, for a long time. I don't literally gain anything from making money, especially intelligently. I just don't get anything anymore out of it. Okay, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. If you're putting on a position and everything is right and it confirms, you kind of expect to make money. Do you make money all the time? Of course not, right? You kind of expect it. Here was a trade that I felt I was holding a pair of aces, okay? And I always say that you don't need to trade every single day. Matter of fact, you don't need to trade at all when the market's open. Because the market's open, the only thing you need is value, right? I don't trade because the market's open. I trade because I have value. And here is a stock we were looking at for about 4 or 5 days, right? That 7160 level was absolutely massive. Now, why is this important? Why do I want to go over this trade here? So here was the pivot, right? So here was the pivot. So the top of this channel right here, as everybody sees, was 7160, right? 7160. So 7160 here, 7137 here, but this is the big number, okay? So what happens? So the stock takes out the 7160, right? And here's kind of the tweet that I put in. Here's a tweet that I put in the private channel. So I said, hey guys, watch the 7160, huge daily area needs to build. Okay, so that's what happened. So the stock builds, right? The stock builds, and it goes to about 72. You'll see this area here, 72 bucks, okay? And what I've been doing recently is I've been taking this second entry, especially at whole number. So if there's not as much liquidity as I want, non-whole number, I'll wait for the whole number even if I have to pay higher, because if Square would have confirmed, like I thought it was going to confirm, I thought the stock had a shot to get to the 52-week highs, was roughly a 73 level, and maybe even squeeze out the 74, right? So I thought the trade was there. So I was waiting for that whole number to kind of confirm. So before the next candle turned, we noticed there was a massive reload seller, right? The guy, there was a guy at 72 bucks. No joke. The guy he must have sold 3-4 million shares, just would not get out of the way. And the one thing that I've always maintained through all these years, every single year, is I don't care how good your strategy is, right? You can have the most amazing strategy in the world. You can shit gold, right? You can shit gold, shit platinum and diamonds. You can shit gold. If there is a reload seller on the other side of the trade who's a motivated reload seller, I give you my word, you will not make money, okay? I will give you my word you don't have money, because I don't care how smart you think you are or how aggressive the day is happening or how good you're doing that day. If David Einhorn has 9 million shares for sale on Square and you're going with your little 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares, I promise you, you're not, I give you my word, you're not making money on this trade. And you only have two options, right? You only have two options. Once you realize there's a reload seller, and there's a great question, especially new traders ask me, hey, Dan, how important is level 2? And I was like, well, how important is breathing, right? Don't you need breathing to live? Level 2, guys, shows you all the order flow, okay? I still don't understand how people execute orders without having level 2. That's a whole different conversation. So level 2 shows you the aggressive nature of buyers and sellers. It shows you the guys who are willing to pay, right, the highest bids and the lowest offers, right? That's what makes a market. And if you notice, if you were watching the level 2 on Square at 72, it was like the end of the world, right? It was literally good versus evil. It was like that final scene in Avengers Infinity. Remember when they all died? Spoiler alert. That was like the last scene. The guy must have sold, no joke, 4 million shares. So by the time the stock retraced, so what I did was I just started putting a bunch of buy stops in. So I figure if they clean them up, the stock's going to go. So what happens, right? So what happens? I'm holding aces, right? We always talk about playing premium hands. I'm holding aces. I'm holding aces. I'm holding aces. So I get triggered into the stock, right? I get triggered into the stock, and the stock goes. I put in two or three buy stops, 2 or 3 buy stops. There's a whole rationale behind it, but I put a couple of buy stops in it, right? I put a couple of buy stops in it. So the stock goes to like 72.25, right? As soon as it goes to 70.25, the offer's coming again, and he starts again selling stock at 72, right? So now you know he sold all the stock, because again, isn't trading all about the collection of data? So I'm sitting there watching this guy reload after reload after reload, and now we're in the trade. Now we're in the trade. So I have a decision to make, okay? I can either get out of the stock, okay, and use a cup of coffee loss, right? Have a cup of coffee loss in the stock, or I can wait until they clean them out. That's my only choice, okay? You cannot be a little bit pregnant. That's your only choice. You can either get out of the trade or you can let it play out until it gets cleaned up. The question is, we don't know the final result. Does he have an extra 500 shares left, or does he have an extra 5 million shares left? And the moral of the story is, right? The moral of the story is, I love the setup. I thought it was going higher. I had good liquidity on it. I had everything that makes me happy going into the trade. And the only thing, I say this again, guys, the only thing we will absolutely never be able to win is a motivated reload seller. And here's, in my opinion, and this was, of all the really good, strong pivots that we had, whether it was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, throughout the whole week, right? I thought this was absolutely the most important trade of the week, because again, it showed you that sometimes when you're holding a pair of aces, you have to muck them just to play another day. And if you look at, what we talked about here, let me just show you exactly what we talked about here. Bear with me 1 second. Where is it? Here it is. So here is basically what I wrote, and I put into the channel, and I basically said, well, how important is it to muck a pair of aces, right? How important is it? And the one thing that we have when you trade risk on, when you trade the Teslas, the Squares, the Amazons, all that stuff, you have to have the ability to read order flow. You have to have the ability to make very, very fast and aggressive, proactive decisions. Because if not, you will be, victim to a prey, right? You will be the victim. You will not be you won't be the alpha hunter. You will be the prey. And I made a choice. I made a choice, and you'll see here. You see here by my executions. I bought stock at 72 and change, right? 72, and I added more at 72.10, and I made that choice. I said, you know what? Let me get out of the position. It's just not worth it. The guy just sold 4 million shares, and he just came back for more. Why do I want to be in this trade, right? And it's so important, folks. And this is where your bravado kind of leaves. This is where your emotions kind of leave, and you say to yourself, look, safe than sorry, I collected the data, okay? I love the chart, I love the setup, I love the liquidity, I collected the data. I think it's time to bow out, and I think it's time to muck the hand. Even though I have aces, and even though I know hella water, once this guy gets cleaned up, I know the stock is going to 73, I know the stock is going to 74, I know everything, but you know what? I'm willing to muck this hand. And that's exactly what I did. I sold the stock at 72 bucks. I bought it at 72, 72.01, 72.01, 72.10, and I sold the stock 72. And then 15 minutes later, right? 15 minutes later, you can see this. This is one of the most aggressive candles that came in. They just, again, the buyers got tired. Again, it was, stocks go up when buyers clean up sellers. Stocks go down when sellers clean up buyers. And again, we could not, when I say we, the longs could have not cleaned up that seller. There was nothing we could have done with millions and millions of shares being traded at that level. We just couldn't get rid of that, aggressive, motivated seller, and we were done. So mocking, again, guys, it's not about being right. Okay, it's not about being right. I could have sat there and been right and got creamed on the trade, right? It's about being profitable, guys. And I say this all the time. It's not the money you make, okay, that brings value to your account. It's the money you save, and that's the bottom line. And this is a perfect example. We had aces. It was a phenomenal, aggressive day, right? A phenomenal, aggressive morning. But sometimes when you're sitting across Phil Ivey and you have aces, he knows that he knows that you have aces, and he still goes in all in. It's time to muck the cards. So perfect example, and this is why the live webinar is so priceless. Okay, you can't get this on a DVD. You can't get this off hours. You have to have the ability to watch this live so you really understand the moving parts. Again, I've been saying this for a long, long time. It's not about clicking a mouse, right? It's not about clicking a mouse, buy, sell. It's understanding all the moving parts. So all in all, guys, especially for you guys in the live webinar, again, the break-even trade, and I say this all the time, the break-even trade is the most underappreciated, right? Underappreciated, undervalued kind of tool that a trader has in their network, but it's so crucial, guys. Those days you put on 4 or 5 positions, you get 3 winners and 2 ties, they're good days. 4 winners and 1 tie, they're good days. 2 winners and 2 ties, they're good day. They're good day, guys. Any day that you're solvent, that you're going in the right direction, that you're not deviating from the process or cheating on execution or cheating on the pivot or doing anything so you're going to self-sabotage yourself and still stick with the script. Those are the good days, because the bad days are the days you can't trade. And it's not because you don't want to trade. It's because, again, you burnt out your account, you burnt out your mental equity, and you're probably doing something else. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the week. We talked about kind of this double top here on the Qs on Thursday. Again, kind of wasn't a surprise that we kind of back tested on Friday. So we had this double top here. First close over the 5-day. Well, why is 5-day significant? Well, first close here over the 5-day kind of had a 3-day ramification. We're kind of in the middle, but now any close below the 10-day moving average will probably have a retest over this 50. Again, before we put the cart in front of the horse. We want to see it play out here. Again, going into Monday's session, I'm self-biased, but again, does it really matter? I mean, does it really make a difference? You have individual setups with individual. We're still in the earnings season, as we're still going to get earnings plays pre-market. So please get to morning strategy at 5 minutes after 9 so we can discuss those pivots. For all the rest of you guys, I am very, very excited again to host the workshop, the PS60 workshop, on the 25th of August. If you're ever curious and wondering about these pivots, you see them, kind of play out for years and years and years. If you're just missing that one little arbitrage, that one little extra edge, this might be something for you. And if not, we can always be Twitter buddies. It's not a problem. So guys, have a great weekend. For all you guys who are getting the rest of the email tonight, got some good ideas for Monday's session, the option flow report. And guys, especially for you folks who are on the silver program, really watch the morning strategy link. Okay, it'll show you exactly what happened in that trade on Square, so you can see it actually play out live, or take live. The rest of you guys have an awesome week. I hope everybody is slowly but surely getting to where they want to be as a professional trader. Don't give up, man. Don't let other people taint you. Just make sure, no matter what type of process you're trading, make sure you understand all the moving parts. Guys, God bless you. I love you. Thank you very much. I'm humbled for the response of the workshop, and with God's help, I'll see you all Monday. Take care.